Major, not to start it on a bad note with your victory, but what happened with Ed with the jacket? I know Laura reported that you had a dispute over the jacket. Can you elaborate on what occurred there right before the half?
Well, we just have a rule on the sideline that guys that are participating in the games, and specifically starters, that they have jackets so they can stay cool. And, as a coach who's coached and played for years, you don't want 1,000 guys in a jacket when it's only 50 degrees outside. You want guys to stand up, be off the bench, and be tough. And some guys had them early on. I asked them to take them off. I asked our equipment staff to take them off. And Ed had one, so I asked him to take it off because I don't want to be unfair and unequal to the other guys. And, he got emotional. But he's young, and that's what happens. And he's not playing, and that's hard, and it's difficult. And, I don't hold anything against anyone. I'm just going to visit with him about it. I love him. I want him to be a part of our team. I want him to be with our team. It's really nothing more than that. You'd be amazed how many emotional things you deal with all the time with players. So, this is just one that you see, but we deal with things like this all the time as coaches. That's part of our job.
Was it his decision not to come out for the half, or was it your decision?
I don't really know, because when we went at halftime, my mind was on what we've got to do because we lost our quarterback. I'd heard that he had left, and I want him back. I want him a part of our football team. If he wants to play, I want him to play. I don't, like I said, when you deal with 18 to 22-year-olds all the time, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. A lot of things that are going to happen, and you're going to deal with emotions all the time. And that's our job as coaches, is to help them and help them develop that maturity and move on, and that's my job. And if he lets me help him, I absolutely will, every which way I can.
So is it fair to say at this point you're not certain if he will be back?
I have not spoken with him. We had a half to play, so that's where our mind was, in terms of trying to win the game, making sure our seniors go out the right way, and go 8-3 and give us a chance to possibly play for our side of the league in terms of a conference championship.
Major, on his reaction, though, it looked like he took exception when you grabbed the jacket. Was that what kind of started, or do you feel like that's where he got angry, or that he felt like he needed to say something?
No, I went and talked to him at first, and I think he was upset that I took it from him, and then I wanted to go back and explain to him that, I've asked other people tonight to take it off, and I just want you to understand that I'm not singling you out. I'm not trying to pick you out. I've asked other guys on the sideline to take it off. I'm trying to be fair, because when you don't, and you have somebody else wearing it, then other guys are like, well, Coach, why does he get to wear it and I don't? And so I'm just trying to be fair with all of our players on the sideline, and that's all.
There was a mention about whether a guy was active or not active. I guess, did that play into your decision?
Or what?
Because he was inactive, that he shouldn't be wearing the jacket, I guess, was that a factor?
Oh, my gosh. Guys, I really appreciate it, but it's really simple. There's a rule for our team. Equipment managers explain it to him. Everybody follows the rule. I want everybody to follow the rule. I asked him to follow the rule. He was upset about it. I get it. We deal with these type of situations all the time. This is something that we're going to learn from and grow from.
If he were to return and he were to tell you that he was ready to play on Saturday, would he play and would he start next week?
Depending on how healthy he is. I can't imagine somebody beating him out. So I would think he'd be good enough to play. So if he's healthy, yeah, absolutely. But again, I think there's like a little barrier right here in terms of what we do on a daily basis with young men, and how emotional that they can get, and how hard it is for elite players to not play, and how they lose a part of themselves. I've been there. I've done it. I've had those things. I've had coaches sit me down when I've torn my ACL. I get it. I understand it. It's our job to help them move and develop and move on.
What do you know about Dirac's status at this point?
I don't know the overall diagnosis of it all. I just know that he wasn't able to return, so I've got to wait and see what the doctors say from it.
Do you know if it happened? Was it on the concrete?
It was no, sir. It wasn't on the concrete. It wasn't a contact injury. He simply handed the ball off and went to carry out his fake, and it all kind of stunned us, quite honestly. And then he said he couldn't straighten his leg out. So we'll see what we got.
Major, was there any emphasis this week to try to use the running game to extend your defense a little bit and maybe get more yardage out the running game to help your defense out, because you were depleted up front?
Yeah, we always want to run the ball. Yes, sir. Especially in the second half, we felt like we really needed to lean on it. But all the guys did an outstanding job. All the backs, we obviously had to bring it back over from the defense side of the ball. Grant Stewart did an outstanding job when he entered the game. But that's just a part of what we want to do every week. We'd like to be able to run the ball. Does that mean that's all we want to do? No. We want to throw the ball and be explosive and all those kind of things. But in a game like this, especially with a change at quarterback, you need to be able to run the ball in the second half.
Major, what does it say about just your defense, what they were able to come out? It looked like from the get-go they were it looked they were playing with a little bit more motivation, or just kind of after everything that's happened the last few weeks?
Proud of them. I mean, there's not many teams that continue to fight the way this one has. There's a lot of teams that will fold their tent and say that's enough. We have lost 3 defensive starters on the defensive line, lost a senior safety, lost another defensive lineman tonight, had 2 wideouts out of the game, lost 1 early, had 2 of our first team and second team tailback out. Then we lost our quarterback at halftime. Never going to make excuses, and still went out and beat a team by 31 points. So just, that says a lot about them. And, you want to take credit as a coach, but really that's something that's in their hearts and their minds. It really probably has more to do with how they were brought up, how they were parented, how they were coached, and the way they continue to fight their ass off is incredible. All those injuries, Joe, I'll have to wait and see what the doctors say about him. All they really tell me is it's a knee, he can't come back, or it's an ankle, he might be able to come back. So I got to wait until they get all their reports and everything Friday morning.
Coach, with all the injuries that you mentioned, how much of a chance is it for you to come up with a new game plan to adjust and substitute the injured players?
Oh, it's going to be instrumental. I mean, you got to go with what pieces you have. It's hard, it's difficult. We're not going to make excuses, but you start losing a lot of players like that, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, just think about any team. I mean, think if Rob Gray didn't play last year, were we going to the tournament? I don't know. So I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. And again, what I care about is how hard they fight their tails off, and it's more of a compliment to them and their parents. We'd like to take credit as coaches, but that's not us. I mean, that's something that's ingrained in those young men, and they won't take no for an answer. They keep playing hard.
The psychic of your defense tonight, because you got multiple turnovers tonight, and the boost. What do you think the boost they got, because they did have the multiple turnovers tonight and being able to turn the ball over and give you a short field to work with at certain points tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they understood exactly what they've got to do. Dauphine and Bradwell are outstanding backs. They're not average. They're outstanding backs. And McMillan is a winner. I mean, that's what he's done. He throws the ball well. He's smooth. They're great in the RPO game. 5-3 can make plays as wideouts. But they understood it was a hell of a task. And Tulane's been playing great ball as of late, and they're always well coached. Willie Fritz is, if not the best, one of the best coaches in our league, and he has his team prepared and class act. And we knew it was going to be a task. The defense had to come out, and we had to play fast, and we had to play fast from the get-go and hit big backs early.
How proud of you? How proud are you of your team to do this, to have this kind of effort on this night on the short turnaround in particular?
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Sam is you don't have much time to think, reflect, point fingers after a loss. It's back to the practice field, go get it. I think that always kind of helps. After 2 disappointing losses, you just don't have time to moan and complain. You just got to go back and practice. And they did Sunday. They had a really physical practice on Monday. I was proud of them. And then Tuesday, they had another solid practice. And obviously they played the way that they practiced.
And I guess moving forward with if Dirac's thing is long term, I guess what does your depth chart look like at that point?
What you saw, I mean, in terms of Toon and Dormady, and then we got to find a third quarterback. Especially if Bryson can't go. So Ike, who's been on our scout team, he's really good, and he's done a great job. So he'll be getting some reps.
Real quick, Major, obviously it was not that you wanted to get a look, but you did get a chance to see Toon against a little better competition than what he saw earlier in the year at Texas Southern. But how do you feel like he handled the second half, and how do you feel like he handled the offense once you guys just put him on there?
I thought he did an outstanding job of executing. And I thought Coach Prowse did a great job of getting with him at halftime. He's done a great job of developing him. It's a two-way street, right? I mean, you got to have a coach that's really invested in the player, and you got to have a player that listens to the coach. And it's a great relationship. It's a great room in the quarterback room. Both those guys did an outstanding job at halftime of understanding exactly what we've got to do in the second half to win the game. We were playing with a lead. We didn't want to be conservative and just sit on it. We wanted to continue to try to expand the lead. And so we had to take some opportunities, play with some tempo, take some shots down the field. And I thought the other 10 guys on the offense side of the ball did a great job around Clayton. So now it's just a chance to go back and watch that second half, see where there's certain little things that we can get better at, and you'll see his mindset change dramatically. I've been in that situation. It'll change dramatically. His preparation, everything going into the week of Memphis will be very different. He'll be looking at it through a different lens.
Major, you go into, I guess the message to the team, you go into a week now, it's another short week, but you have a little bit of time this weekend where other games will be played. Everything's still in front of you. You need some help, but things are there still. I mean, can you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had an opportunity in a driver's seat and didn't finish it. So now we're kind of waiting and seeing what goes down tomorrow night with SMU and Memphis. And regardless, we still have one more game. That's what I just told the seniors. It's great to take your pads off a winner at home, but hell, we're not done. So we got another one next week, and then maybe a conference championship game, if not a bowl game. So that's just where our mindset is. We'll see where the chips fall, and then get after it on Saturday and Sunday.
On a quick note, how much of the playbook would Tune be exposed to going into Memphis? Will you just open up everything for him, or what he's going to be comfortable with that you think he can handle in this short period?
Yeah, quite a bit of it. I don't know if it'll be the same that you'd give a guy who started 10 games this year, but a lot of it. I mean, smart kid, has played 6A football. Intelligent. Older brother played college football as a quarterback, so it's not his first rodeo. He's taking a lot of snaps, but I don't think you're going to give him what you would give a 10-week starter.